Is this about as bad as you would have guessed it could possibly be if we were having this discussion mid-August?
This is worse.
Thinking, yeah, I was in the midst of asking that question and I was about to rephrase it. Yeah.
No, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, just
Yeah.
thinking, I mean, is this, you know, worst case scenario that we talked about preseason, that we wrote about on State of the U, like, you know, if everything went as bad as it possibly could go, how bad would it be? The current state of affairs is worse than what we discussed here and what we wrote on the website. I mean, 2-4 overall, 0-2 in the league. You got a good chance to go 0-4 in the league and be at 2-6. Not the next time that we talk, but coming up. You know, North Carolina State 5-1, already beat Clemson. They're 2-0 in the league. They're coming in here now. Barely got by them last year. They're playing very much better than they were last year, and definitely better than Miami's playing. And then you go to Pittsburgh, who's ranked. They got 17th year starter Kenny Pickett, who, again, famously ruined Miami's undefeated season way back in 2017. He's still there for whatever number of year it is. And they're playing amazingly. And he is playing amazingly, which is not something I ever thought I would see from Kenny Pickett, who is extra regular. I mean, he is not – he's going to maybe – he can hold a clipboard in the NFL for a long time. Maybe spot start or whatever, but he's not a superstar at all. But he's playing like a superstar this year. So now you're going to go back up there to the house of horrors that is Heinz Field, you know, where, again, dreams went to die in 2017. Other times where we've gone up and lost there. And that's coming up next week. This is why I said a couple weeks ago, I don't think that Manny Diaz is making it to Halloween. Like, you play on the 23rd, you play on the 30th. Like, maybe he gets fired on Halloween Day, but, like, I don't think he makes it to November 1st. Like, you got, this is every, okay, not every, but the question that I asked this year in the preview piece on State of the U, the roundtable was non-De'Aaron King division, what player can you not lose? Because we all know that De'Aaron King was the straw that stirred the drink. He transformed the offense. So we all knew, okay, he's the one you cannot lose, and who else? You lost him. You lose Cam Harris. You lose Corey Gaynor. You lose Donald Chaney Jr., who I still believe should have been the starting running back over Cam Harris to begin with. You had Jalen Knighton out for 4 weeks. He finally came back and played the last 2 games, looking like incredible, like he was in all through high school. Again, one of only 2 running backs in Broward County history to eclipse 5,000 career rushing yards total. The other is the late, great Tyrone Moss from Pompano Beach, Ely, God rest his soul. You know, he's playing well, but, I mean, now you're down to a guy who was one of the many incredible running backs we had at the top of the rotation, is the only one remaining. You lose games that, with all due respect to these other teams, you shouldn't have lost. If Miami is going to be Miami, I'm sorry. And even in an average year, you should be maybe 3-3 right now. You know what I mean? Like, not 2-4, 0-2, and such and such. So, yeah, this is worse than the worst case scenario heading into the year. Because what you figured the worst case scenario would be 7-5. You know, like absolute rock bottom floor. You're 60 minutes away from being 2-5, potentially looking at 2-6. And then going on and on. I mean, God forbid if we lose to Florida State, who I still think are the dregs of the earth. I still do not think that they are good at all. But pot kettle kind of situation going on right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that this is worse than what I thought the worst case scenario could have been, and I don't know that it's going to get any better anytime soon.
Yeah. When you bring up all those injuries, and I seem to make this statement often, I wish, because I want context with those amount of injuries to that quality of player. And I would love somebody would have to take this on and it would be exhaustive. What should be the expectation for a college football season in any particular team in the Power 5 in sustaining injuries? What would that number be and to what quality of player? But what you just read off sounds like a severely inordinate amount of injuries and to quality players.
Yeah, it is. It's more than a little bit. And you have guys who have missed time during games as well. You've had other guys who have missed games and come back. Keontra Smith missed 3 games. Jared Harrison Hunt missed 2. Jordan Miller missed 2. Tyreek Stevenson missed the better part of half of the game against Virginia, with a hamstring. But other guys, and not even for targetings this year. Amari Carter, I have no idea if he's even playing, because usually he gets a targeting every third tackle attempt. But not even missing for that. You have other embedded injuries. I'll call them embedded, the ones that happen for a couple of games or in a game. You've had more of those as well on top of these season enders. And again, they're inordinately on the offense, so more over there than on defense, which is what it is. But your quarterback, your number 1 running back, the number 2 running back, who I really thought should be the number 1 running back, and your starting center, all gone for the year. That's a lot.
Yeah, I certainly thought that this was the best running back room, definitely in the conference and beyond. One of the best in the country.
Yeah, and then the top 2 from that room are now gone for the year.
And again, anytime you sustain a quarterback injury to a guy that was projected to be, even if you weren't a big De'Ara King fan, you could not place him any lower than 15th in the country coming into the season. So, yeah, I don't want to say no teams in this country can sustain that, but very, very few. And then even those teams that could sustain it would not be reaching the level of play that is their standard.
Right.
If they lose their number 1 quarterback and 2 of their top 3 running backs, and then all the other injuries that you just laid out.